Hey guys, welcome back to the Airstream Motorsports YouTube channel. The first thing we're going to do tonight on our carbon fiber project that we've been working on for, gosh, I don't know, it seems like 2 months by now at this point is, I realized we hadn't shown you one of the doors all put together. So this is the outer skin and the inner piece that we had done up. The inner structure, at least the part that we were going to keep, is all together. Both of them are bonded, both doors are done. However, if you look, we've still got a little bit of a wiggle. Well, we're going to address that tonight on the other door first. So, if you look right over here, we've got a boxed in inner structure, very similar to what was inside the trunk. And so what this is going to do is help stiffen up this area of the or the back side of the door and really eliminate a bunch of that flex. Now we are going to end up putting one more in here and one more in here, but we want to get our latches and stuff set in and done up before we actually do that part. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to the third and final layer on top of the hood. It's already put down, set in place where we want it to be and ready to go. And if you look, the wicker bill is in and ready to go. As you can tell, we did simply use the one that we had made for the other hood. However, we have a couple layers in here to try to blend it in a little bit better. When you get super close, you can still see that it is just sitting on top of there. But for the race car parts that we are building, it is going to be good enough. And the last piece we're going to do is we're simply going to put the final layer on the headlight panel. Then we're going to wrap it up for today. When we head back, we'll do the fender probably tomorrow night or maybe the next night. But yeah, after a couple of days, the hood will be dried up and ready to go, and then we will pop this one off, flip it over, and we'll do the core side, and then we'll bond the two together just like we did the trunk. So let's get to mixing up some epoxy. Lay it on. Alright guys, well there you have it. We are done with the inner core on the first driver's side door that we're going to do. The third layer is on the hood. The wicker bill that we had blended in really nicely. It has a couple little bubbles that you can tell, but for the most part it's in pretty good, and for our race car parts I will take it. The last layer on the grill panel went real nice, and that's a wrap on these pieces. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the next coat on the fender, and then we got 4 other tiny little pieces to pull off on the front, and those will go real quick. We'll have those off here shortly. Alright guys, so it has been a couple of days. The hood is dried up, and we're going to go ahead and pop it off, see how it looks. So yeah, we've got a couple of tools that we normally use, and I mean it's really just a simple process. You just get up underneath it and peel it off all the way around, and then it just kind of pops off. So that's what the PVA that we used is for. And yeah, so I'm sure we will go ahead and have a little bit of a quick time-lapse portion of this. So I'm going to stop talking here for a second so we can go through that, and then we'll catch right back up to it at the end. But it is quite the satisfying noise when it all comes out. Alright guys, there it is. The hood, we popped off the hood. And now, as you can tell, because of the way we do it, we have the hood vents and everything that we're going to need to cut out right out in the open, shaped up. And if you look sideways, it is really flexible at this point in time. So, like we did with the trunk, what we will do now is flip the hood over and make a piece from the structure on the inside. Not that there's a huge amount left, but there is still some. And then we will go ahead and cut the vents and such out that we're going to do, and we'll make a couple more small little structural pieces on the inside that help really strengthen the hood up and make it so it doesn't flex around. Yeah, on to the next step. Alright, so next thing that we are going to do is we have one of the doors done, since we are now a couple of days later, just like the hood. This is all dried up. And when you see this, the inner structure now, no, that's not super pretty, but like I said, we're making race car parts here. It is very sturdy and solid. Unlike the door that we haven't done yet, so we could show you guys what it was like, where this one bends and flops around, the other one doesn't. So we are then going to do the inner core piece for this one, just like we have here. The hood we just popped off, so now we are going to do the inner outside structure portion. And then once that's done, we will add a little bit more of an X right here in the middle, where we don't really have any support currently. That way when we do the carbon fiber, it doesn't kind of flutter up and down. The steel hood didn't do that, but it has a little bit more structure in the full area. The carbon fiber has the same amount of properties for it, but over that wide expansion, it can kind of flutter up and down at times if it doesn't have a core piece in it. So we're going to do that as well now, and clean it up, prep it up, sand it down, get the PVA put on, and then we'll epoxy and carbon fiber both of them. So we'll show you next. Alright guys, so we've got the hood laid out and getting the epoxy down. We've got the epoxy and the carbon and the structure laid on the other door. Things are moving right along tonight. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap this video up for us. We got the inner structure done on the door. The outside portion of the inner structure is done on the hood. We'll wait a couple of days for that to dry up so we can pop it off. We'll wait a couple of days for that to dry up. And then the next thing we're going to do with the doors is actually make a mounting plate for the inside of the carbon, so we can sandwich the carbon fiber between the plate on the inside of it and the actual door hinge on the outside of it, so it adds just a tiny bit more structure to it. And then we will get the door latch and stuff ready to go for that. And we'll pop off the inner structure. We'll make another little piece after we cut out all the vents and such that we need to do. But the next video we're going to do, we get a lot of questions about how are you doing what you're doing, what are the products you're using, what steps are you doing. So we think we're going to do a little tutorial video on the next couple. We got 4 little pieces left to go on the front of the car, and they're small enough that I think we can do a tutorial and do the pieces at the same time. So stick around for that one. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, share. That's how we can grow the channel and make it a little bit bigger. But we'll be back in the next one. Thanks.